On my first day of work at Patagonia, it's everything that you would think. Surfboards, climbing chalk. During my first couple weeks of work, actually my first week of work, someone came over to me and was like, do you want to go to a protest? We're gonna teach you how to surf. We're gonna teach you how to climb. Whoa, this is a really hard company to work at. A lot of people want to work here. Story time on how I got a job at Patagonia when I was 23. So I graduated school with an environmental science and policy degree, and to be completely honest, I wasn't studying that because at the time I was this super environmental activist. I just didn't know what to do, and my mom was like, you have to be a STEM major. So I found the environmental science program, I signed up for that, and then it kind of changed my life, but not while I was in school. There were some students that were really into the environment when I was in college, and we didn't really hang out or anything. All of my friends were other people of color who were also in the environmental program, and we were kind of into it, but not that, I don't know. We were just there, you know? So I was in a class and there was a case study on Patagonia, and I was like, oh, this is cute. This is cute. I didn't know about Patagonia at all before I read this case study. I had known about the North Face. I had never heard of Patagonia. It just wasn't in my cultural reference, if that makes sense. But I was reading a case study about how cool it was that they were a sustainable company, but they also practice something called the triple bottom line, which basically is looking at people, profit, and planet. So being a corporation, not a nonprofit, and you're making money, but you're also considering the ethics in the supply chain and environmental impact in the process. So I thought, oh, I want to work there one day. This is cute. I had a blog at the time. It was called Green Girl Food, and I was posting acai bowls and stuff, and then I transitioned it into Green Girl Leah, where I was just talking about my life as a Black environmental person that likes to be outside and do things, and it was small and cute and niche and cute. So I applied to a job at Patagonia as soon as I graduated, and I actually got an interview, which was so wild to me at the time. I didn't get the job, and I thought, oh my God, I'm never gonna work there ever again. But it was also kind of a competitive place to work. And I got a job somewhere else, and it was an interesting experience. I was working on the social media team of a company, and some of the people who I was working with were not really supportive, were kind of just hating on me and shutting down all of my ideas.
Should I keep going?
Why are you the way that you are?
I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where all of a sudden somebody's like, I hate that, that's a dumb idea. And I was so young and just so excited, and it was weird. Anyway, so a year later, I keep applying, and I start building my blog a little bit more, Green Girl Leah, and a job comes up to be an assistant, and I apply, and I got the job. So I packed up all my stuff and moved to Santa Barbara, California. Patagonia is in the middle of Ventura. It's this surf culture spot. I'm from St. Louis. I went to school in Orange County. Never been to this part of California. Never surfed a day in my life. So completely different environment. And I'm just gonna be honest, it is white. Caucasian. It is a very Caucasian place. So I moved to Santa Barbara, packed up all my stuff, was in this house with 4 other people sharing one bathroom. And on my first day of work at Patagonia, it's everything that you would think. It feels like a hippie commune. Birkenstocks everywhere. Surfboards, people have that little climbing chalk. The first week of work, they're like, we're gonna teach you how to surf, we're gonna teach you how to climb. And I was climbing up the mountain and was like, put me down, put me down, put me down.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Anyway, so my first week of work, I'm there. I have the coolest job in the world, and I didn't even know it. I was an assistant for Rick Ridgway, who's this legendary rock climber, and also was besties with the founder of Patagonia, and is a part of the Patagonia lore. And if you don't know the lore, they were these cool rock climbers that were traveling the world, and they made this amazing company with sustainability in mind. So I'm working for this climbing legend, but I never climbed a day in my life until I came to Patagonia. So I think that was kind of a fun part of the experience and the whole bit, because I was I don't know who this man is, but he's really cool. And we kind of came from different worlds, because I was one of maybe 3 Black people that worked there at the time. So it was kind of cute to, I don't know, have these different worlds kind of colliding. And During my first couple weeks of work, actually my first week of work, someone came over to me and was like, do you want to go to a protest? You trying to protest? And I thought, oh my God, yes. So I hopped on a bus at 4 a.m. because a bunch of my coworkers were going to an environmental protest. And I found a bus to take me there at 4 a.m. I get to San Francisco, and then 2 hours later, the march starts. It's a march with like 50,000 people. I meet up with my coworkers. We're all marching together about climate justice. I think this was my first climate protest that I had ever gone to with the folks at Patagonia. And I remember a friend of mine, I didn't have a place to stay, so I slept on the floor with another friend who was like rooming with another friend at a hotel. And it just was like, oh my God, this is really cool that I'm at work and this company is encouraging me to like go to a demonstration. And when I was working there, I was working on the comms team as an assistant. And I honestly wasn't like the best assistant in the world. I just really enjoyed hanging out with Rick and also Vincent, who is the director of philosophy at the time. And then I also fell in love. There are these two amazing women named Val and Terry, and they manage the Patagonia archives. And I'm really close to my grandparents, so I think maybe that's why I was like gravitating towards them. And looking back at it, that whole experience taught me so much because Rick gave all these presentations about business ethics and environmental ethics and how to incorporate loving people and the planet at the same time. And I got to just like listen to him practice his presentations and, you know, hear different life stories of his. I don't know, I just wanted to hang out. Like, you know, he would bring me chocolate from the cafeteria and like I would bring him stuff from the cafeteria. And it was just such a great experience. So it's everything that you would think that it would be. It's pretty genuine. Like I worked, to be completely honest, like not a full 8 hours a day when I was there. Like I would just go to a restaurant down the street for lunch. Like people would go surf during the middle of the day. I would go to the Patagonia store with my 70% discount. It was a really like chill lifestyle. And I love that. It was like a little community and a commune. And when I was there, I think my like greatest achievement was I was able to plan a party, a holiday party, one of their first. It was called Patagonia's Holiday Hoedown. So I was like, bet, let me do this. Ooh, this is my time to shine. I love event planning. I was a theater kid. So my friend McGuire at the time, this is very small beach town situation. My friend and roommate McGuire worked at a little farm and was like, oh, we can make mead. So I hired him and some people to have mead for the party. We had line dancing, we had oysters. It was country western themed. It was really cute. Everybody had their like flannel on. We had all these food vendors. I also was like, we're gonna get some paella, and we had someone cooking paella. So that was super fun. And I ended up leaving Patagonia in 2020, about 2 years later, because of the pandemic. But what sucks is that Patagonia has an internship program where employees can leave, I think it's up to 6 weeks. It might be 4 weeks, because that sounds wild. I'm gonna fact check that. Maybe it's 2 weeks. That sounds more reasonable. But basically you can leave and go work with a nonprofit that's in their like network and get paid still to go work with a nonprofit. So it was my first year going on second year, but I'm like, I'm gonna apply. And I remember someone told me, oh, okay, like usually you wait and you work a couple years and then you apply. I'm like, I'm gonna apply. I'm trying to go to Hawaii. I'm trying to work in a garden. So I applied to the Breadfruit Institute in Hawaii and I got the internship, and I was about to be posted up for 2 weeks living at the Breadfruit Institute, but it was planned for April of 2020, and we all know what started to happen. And Corona came around, the pandemic came around, so we couldn't do that. Then something else happened. Black Lives Mattering more happened.
Why are you so angry? I'm angry because it's been going on forever.
And that's why I ended up leaving. I was actually furloughed from my position at Patagonia, and then I started posting and getting really active online talking about environmental justice, and then my personal social media on Instagram started to take off, which ended up working out because it completely changed my life and I was able to write a book. And I think I left Patagonia. I remember at the time people were saying like, oh, what about your laptop? What about your benefits? This is like the best company in the world. Why would you ever leave? Because I had the opportunity to come back. But I just thought like, well, what about what I'm feeling inside? I feel like I need to show up in the world, and it's such a beautiful company, but again, there's not a lot of Black folks in Ventura, so I wanted to make things different and maybe move to LA and start something and start an organization. And I feel like I was able to do that, or I wanted to do that, because of Rick, my boss, who went on all these crazy climbing adventures and would talk about being a dirtbag and, you know, running around and doing all these amazing things. So I thought, you know what? I listen to all your stories every day, so I want to create my own story and, you know, run around and create something for myself. But working at Patagonia was an incredible experience. I was there for about 2 years. I think at the time I didn't understand entirely, like, whoa, this is a really hard company to work at. A lot of people want to work here. And I ended up being able to work there, which was a cool experience. And a lot of people there genuinely care about the earth. So it was just so cool. And we had all of these crazy benefits at Patagonia. We had like a massage and chiropractor benefit. We had like fresh local food that was cooked every day. So I would get my breakfast and lunch there. I barely cooked, and then I would take some food home for later for dinner, and it was organic, delicious, amazing. We had fitness classes when we were there. It was just a really positive culture of people. We had free beer Fridays, so there was always just like beer outside. It really feels like an episode of, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like a real place. It could be different now after the pandemic, but I feel like I was there during like a golden year period before remote work kind of became the thing. And I feel really lucky to have had that experience, and they really practice what they preach, and I think set the stage for a lot of other companies to understand that you could be sustainable and cute and produce materials that are good for people and planet. So that's all story time of my time of working at Patagonia.